Hello and welcome to the demo video for the activity class schedule. This is quite a unique spreadsheet, but I think it's going to help quite a few different businesses, and those businesses would be anybody who holds classes for up to 60 people on different days, potentially even different locations. This was initially made because I had a few swim schools coming to me asking me to create schedules for their different swimming classes. But this could be used for football, rugby camps, anything like that. Also, not necessarily just sporting. I mean, well, sports, team sports like that, but it can also be for exercise classes or even book clubs or anything. It doesn't matter what it's designed for. Anyone who's got different classes. So if you've got a lot of people on a database that are coming to different classes at different times, and you want to try and manage all of that, then this will help you. I'd explain how it works and you can see if it fits for your business. If not, and this is what you want but it doesn't work for you, then get in touch and we can discuss a custom option. But let me show you how the standard version works. Here's the intro and setup tab. I normally have some of the settings over here, but I've moved them off of this tab because there are quite a few of them, so they're on the settings tab instead. But your business name will be in there when you purchase this. Let's go first to, or actually I normally start with the settings, but let me start with the other classes. But before I do, let me just show you one setting, the date. The spreadsheet will last you for a year. Now that doesn't mean you have to buy a new one after a year. You can use this. You can use it, keep a blank template and use it year on year. But each spreadsheet, in order to not collect too much data, will actually just last for a year. So if you put in the first day of the first week of the first year of this year, then what it'll do is it works weekly. I'll show you in a minute how it works, but basically it looks from Monday through to Friday, Saturday or Sunday. So it'll ask you down here which days you're going to work, but we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, it'll also, you put the first day. So if you start your week on a Monday and put that in there, that's fine. We'll get to that. I'll get to all of this with the term names. What you can do, these are the drop-down lists. We'll get to where you use those. But what you can also do is say which of the days you actually do have classes. This is in your settings. When you actually come to assigning classes, if you're never going to have a class on a Saturday or Sunday, rather just uncheck them here, because that means they won't be available for the options to select. Let's go through and you'll see what these settings mean. We'll come back to this each time we need them. Let's start with the classes. All right. What you want to do here is you want to set up classes. So here you can set up a class. So each line represents a class that you've got. So what you can do is if you want to do, say, a class on a Monday, you can select Monday. What's the name? The stage. Now the stage, what I've got is on the settings stage. What I mean by that is you could have maybe beginners, intermediate, advanced, those kind of things. So you can categorize each of these classes at this as a stage. The location for the swim school, obviously we've got pool 1, pool 2, that kind of thing. But you can change this to whichever location. If you've got numerous locations, if you've only got one, just put one location and just simply select that one location. Start time and end time, that's obviously the time that this class starts and ends. And then who is the instructor? So if there's only one, again, just put it in. Those lists are in the drop down list. You can have numerous instructors involved if you want to. Let's go back to classes again. And then what's the capacity? Now on the settings you can set the capacity here. So if you want to set this, if you've got someone else from the spreadsheet in and you say, well, we never have more than 5, you can set that to 5. But that does mean that when they do the classes, they can put in the value here. They can put in whatever value they want. But because, let's just go back. If I set this to 5, for example, and we go back to classes, then I can put in 5. But if I try and put in 6, which is greater than 5, it says no, we've gone past the capacity. So this will lock it down at whatever we've put in on the settings. So you can list numerous. I mean, I put in a space up to 500 here. You can list different classes. So once you've selected a class, once you've inputted the classes, basically one per line, you can then input the participants. So you can put in, I've put in parent guardian because I would imagine a lot of people will be using this for children. But obviously, if not, you can just leave out the parent guardian because the name will then apply to the contact number and email. If it is children, name, parent guardian, contact number, email address, emergency contact number, number and email. You can put in emergency contacts there as well. Scroll across. This is getting now to, excuse me, the invoicing. I'll come back to this. But you can create your database up to the end of here, really, before it starts with balance brought forward. And you can, let me just see if there's anything else. There are badges. We'll get to badges. All right, no, that's fine. So you've got, once you go up to the end of email here, you can, that would essentially add this person onto your database. So you can scroll down and you can add on up to 1,500 people. And you can also sort, so you can sort by name order once you finish, or by parent guardian order, or whatever order you want to sort by. Whatever order these names are in here, they will appear on the in the drop down list on the other pages. And also, right, you can't have any duplicates. So if I add in the name Liam again, you'll see there it says duplicates. You don't want to have duplicates. If you don't want to put surnames, and put the first letter of the surname, or Liam 1, Liam 2, whatever. However it helps you differentiate, but don't have any duplicate names. The reason for that is just because when you make selections on the pages, the spreadsheet won't know which one you're actually looking for. So once you've added names onto this list, you've got your classes, you've got your names. Now what you can actually do is you can come here and you can assign people to classes. So you can simply select from the drop down list. You've got Monday stage 1, pool 2. So they'll, because I've broken, let me go back. As you add this data in, this class code creates itself. So it says Monday stage 1 pool 2 ATM. So you can see the code for that particular class, and you can identify which one it is. So when you go to the class, you can select whichever class you want. Select the participant that wants to join that class. So you'd need to add, obviously have an updated list of classes and add the participant on first. Then you can select their name here. And then finally, you can select when they're due to start. Now this is quite useful because you can look into the future. You can put someone on down into the future or whatever, and you can also have them starting and ending. So if for example you want to have a look ahead and go, will I have a class in 3 months' time if someone wants to join? If you put an end date in, you can actually go back to your classes. So let's just have a look at, I'll show you what I mean. These guys are the same class. If this person ends on the 31st of November, 30th of November, that's the final there, so it's not converting today, 30th of November, if we go back to the classes, we can see the we were assigned on the 3rd. If we put the date over, this will always be today's date, so checking today's dates, because I did this in the past. Let's just say that we want to have a check on the 1st of November. On the 1st of November, it says, well, you've got 2 people assigned and you've got 3 available. If you say, well, what about the 1st of December? Then you see it says 1 person assigned, 4 available. The reason being is because it checks the dates and checks when the people are due to finish. So you can, if someone's asking about future availability and someone else is due to finish, you're not saying, sorry, we haven't got availability. You will be able to tell that there's availability for that person. If you go back to some classes, if you say they're only going to start on the 1st of November, for example, then you can see these cells here don't turn orange because they don't expect you to be putting in information because they haven't started yet. So you can put the start and end date of any person. If you leave them blank, it assumes they're going to be there the whole year, and then it'll ask you for each week. So each week, when you go past that week, if you scroll across, you see this is where we currently are when I'm shooting the video. So the future stuff doesn't change. When you go past the week, it'll expect you to then come in and say, were they there or weren't they there? If you go, yeah, they were there, then you can tick them off. If they go, no, they weren't there, you can cross them off. If there wasn't an event, like it's cancelled or something, then you select the 3rd one. But if you sort by column and you put all the classes together, you'll have all the classes together. You can go down and select people as they attend. This is only if you want to monitor who's attended what. If you don't care who comes and you're charging per term or per month or whatever it might be, you don't care who comes when, it's not a problem to you, then you don't have to fill this in. If you do fill this in, when you go back to participants, you'll be able to see here that each term, how many did they attend and how many did they miss. So those figures will update accordingly. Now, what do I mean by term? Well, a term you can set in the settings and give the terms a term name. So if you've got 4 terms or 6 terms, whatever, and you work to the school terms, you can name them, put the start date, put the end date of the term. If I've left up to 12 terms, so even if you go, well, actually I just want to invoice per month and I want to track them every month, you can just name that January, February, March, April, May, so on and so forth, and put the names in per month, and then put the dates in 1st to the 31st or whatever it might be for that particular year. Or you can name the terms. You don't have to have the dates following on. So if you have school holidays, you can leave out the school holiday dates, so to speak, and just put the term dates in there. What that will then also do, if we go back to participants, not only will it fill in here, but then each term here, where you go first term, you'll be able to put in a number, an invoice number. So you can put in the invoice number, an invoice value, and a date when they pay. So if you put in a value, so if you say, well, the first term or first month or however you work it, they owe £100, you can see the outstanding balance is £100, invoice number 1. If they say, well, they paid that on the 2nd of Feb, you can see the balance automatically goes down to 0 because it's been paid. So as soon as you put in a date paid, it removes that balance removes that amount from their balance. So this will help you to invoice for each term / month, however you want to work it. But then you can also scroll across and see how many events they actually attended that month, in case you want to work the invoice out based on the number of events attended, or if you want to adjust it. So that's the advantage of ticking off who was there, who wasn't there. You can use obviously whatever bits of this you need. You don't have to use all the aspects of the spreadsheet. You can pick and choose as you need to. One last thing while I'm here, we've got what I call badges. I don't know what you would call these. It depends on what you have. But if you have certificates or awards, or if they get, if you think of karate or judo where they get the different color belts, that kind of thing, if you want to, you can list the badges here, up to 20 of them, and then whatever you list here will show up here, and you can just simply tick off each person as and when they achieve whatever that achievement is, just so that you can keep a record of who's got what. So that's your classes, that's your participants, and that's your assigned classes. So far you've been putting in all the information, you've got all of the stuff together, you're ticking off who's been there, you've got your finances in order. The one last column for the finances is the balance brought forward. So when you start a new spreadsheet for the next year, you can copy and paste this data, which remember to use paste values, not normal paste values, from one spreadsheet to another into all these cells. And then the last thing you can do is simply come back here, and so you can copy your database across, you can copy your database of classes across, you can even copy your database of assigned classes across up until here. You don't have to put in the tick these all off for the new year, because you're going to do that as you go along. But then lastly, what you can do is just copy the old outstanding balance into the new balance brought forward, and that will include that into all of these different so yeah, you've got your all of these databases up to date. The 2 automated tabs are very, well, I would think very useful. The people that have made these for thought so. You can select a session code. So you can come here and select any of these sessions or lessons, classes, I suppose they're called. Any of the classes you can call. You can select class codes, and then what you can do is it will pull up how many spaces are available. It'll list the people who are actually in that class with the numbers and email addresses and so on. It'll tell you all the details of the class. But what you can do is, if you've got someone who's calling you and they say, well, we'd like, let me just go and have a look and see what day that was. It was on a Monday. You can filter this information. So if someone says to you, I'd like a class on a Monday, please, and I want a class at whatever stage, you can select what they need in here. And then when you click on here, it'll filter that by what you've selected. So if we go back here and we say, actually, I'd like a class on a Tuesday, when you select here, it says there aren't any classes on a Tuesday because we haven't set one up. So you can basically filter what appears in this drop down list by what you've put in here. So you can filter by instruction, location, stage, weekday, whatever you want to filter by, get the relevant classes, click on them, and then it'll call up that information so you can check availability and how many you've got left. So this is quite useful if you've got someone who goes on the phone saying, you know, what do you have available on a Monday? You can kind of click on here, see what you've got, pull it up, have a look. The other list that is automated is this one, and this is a contact list, and this is what I find a lot of people spend a lot of time on, generally wasting time. You can filter down all your people by class times class end. So if you, let's just say for example, you got all these people and all of a sudden this Monday you can't do any classes because something's come up, you can simply select Monday and this list will now filter to show all the people who have a class on a Monday. If, for example, one of your locations is down and you say, well, this location's down on a Monday, you can select it. They've all disappeared because they weren't at that location. They were at location 2. So if, for example, this Monday, that location, you can't get in, and it'll call up all the people who meet these criteria. If one of your instructors is ill, you can select who's got that instructor, and it'll pull up everyone who's got that instructor. So you can essentially use a filter to filter whatever you want to filter in order to pull up everybody who meets that criteria. If you leave them blank, it's going to put your complete list. The more data you fill in, the more it'll refine it. So not only does it pull up the contact details, remember it only shows 60, so you might have to do a few pages. If you've got a lot of contacts, you may have to do page 1, then page 2, but it'll tell you here how many pages you've got. Then what you can do is, not only does it give you the contact details, but it gives you all of their emails listed here, one after the other. So if you want to do a BCC email to everybody, you can simply copy that, paste values into Word. So if we open up a Word document, just a blank one, let's go back to the spreadsheet. If we say here copy, and we come to the Word document and we go paste, and we say this last one, keep text only. Now you've essentially got the text of an email which you can now copy and paste into Outlook or whatever email service you use, with all of the emails together. So that's quite useful if you've got a problem and you need to get hold of everybody quickly who meets the criteria. That will do it. So you've got this page that'll put out the criteria. But by the way, this one here where you got the little decimal point there, the comma in between the emails, you can say over here, you can type in there what you want. So I've put that and a space into the toolbar to tell it what needs to go between the emails. So you can adjust that. So yeah, I hope that this makes sense. It's been a bit of a whirlwind tour of the spreadsheet, but what it does, assign your classes, decide, put on the location, start time, stage, all the rest of it, participants, and then you can assign participants to classes and tick them off as they come if you want to monitor attendance. You've also got your financial aspect of the invoice, the date paid, and all the rest of it. And you've got your badges that you can give them, or the achievements that they've got. You can see when they've attended. You can assign, you've got your schedule where you can actually pull up in any of the classes and see who's attending, see how many people you've got coming along, and what needs to happen. You can also do that over here. So in assigned classes, you can sort by class and you can see, but it's just easier when you're looking at one class at a time, so it'll pull up all the necessary information. Or, as I said, you can get yourself a nice contact list of anyone who meets the criteria of whatever you select in those cells, and you can update the settings here, the term names, date, which days you're working, and then all those different drop down options. So yeah, I hope that that's clear. I hope that that's helpful to you. If that's something your business needs, I really hope that this spreadsheet helps. As I said at the beginning, if it's not, if you like the idea of this but it's not quite doing what you need it to do, get hold of me, and I'm sure we can discuss a customized option. I wish you all the best. Thank you and goodbye.